Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a plunge into AI avatar instructors in education. You've probably seen these around, right? These digital presenters.
Yeah, delivering video lessons on platforms.
Yeah.
Synthesia, Heycan, places like that.
Exactly.
And it's a pretty big development, actually. These platforms let you, turn a written script into a full video lesson.
Complete with a virtual instructor. Looks realistic, too.
Yeah, remarkably so. And, educators, organizations, they're really starting to use them.
To scale up content creation.
Right, and boost remote learning. It makes things much easier.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. I mean, it sounds incredibly efficient, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But it also brings up some pretty important questions, I think, for our listeners. Like, how do these AI instructors actually stack up against what we know works in learning?
You mean, establish multimedia learning principles?
Exactly. And also, what are the sort of practical things to think about? The ethical side, maybe, as AI gets more, embedded in education.
Those are absolutely the key questions.
Yeah.
And to figure this out, we've pulled together, quite a mix of sources.
Okay.
We're looking at cognitive psychology, the basic science of learning. We've also dug into what the platforms themselves can do, like Synthesia and Heycan.
And academic research, too.
Yep, academic studies.
Mm-hmm.
Some really interesting stuff from University College, London UCL, and Harvard as well.
Got it. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear then.
Yeah, basically understand the opportunities, the upsides.
And the potential risks or things to watch out for with these AI avatar instructors.
Exactly. We want to pull out the most important insights for everyone listening.
Okay, let's do it. So maybe start with how these things got so popular so fast. It feels like a pretty rapid rise.
It really has been. Platforms like Synthesia and Heycan, they've really opened up video creation for education. Massively.
It used to be a whole production, right? Cameras, lights.
Oh, yeah. Studios sometime.
Oh.
Now, pretty much type in a script, choose an avatar.
Bang! You've got a video.
Pretty much. With a lifelike presenter. The accessibility is just, remarkable.
Synthesia, for instance, I saw they have over 230 stock avatars.
Yeah, something like that. And really diverse appearances, too.
And the language support.
Oh, it's wild. Narration in, 140 plus languages and accents?
Incredible for reaching, a global audience.
Absolutely. And Heycan's another big one here. Their avatars apparently can localize stuff into over 170 languages.
With translation and lip sync. Automatic.
That's what they claim, yeah. Automated translation, lip sync. Think about that for, say, a multinational company's training.
Game changer. Consistent message, same instruction, different languages. Wow.
Exactly. Which, brings us straight to those efficiency gains.
Right. Because traditional video, that takes time. Days, maybe?
Easily. For even a short video, these AI tools. Minutes. Once the script's done, anyway.
Minutes. That's a huge difference. It changes how fast you can update things, doesn't it?
Totally. It's crucial. In today's world, things change so fast, you need content that can keep up.
Did you see that Zoom example, their learning team?
Yeah, I did. Reported something like 90% faster video production using Synthesia avatars.
90%.
I know. And it freed up their subject matter experts,
Yeah.
They didn't have to spend ages filming.
They could focus on the actual content, the expertise.
Precisely. And overall, the numbers suggest, cutting production time by over 60%.
While keeping the quality high.
Yeah, that's the claim. That kind of speed, that efficiency, it just opens up so many possibilities. More dynamic learning, more responsive stuff.
You can iterate much faster, too, right? Fix mistakes, add new info.
Much faster. Just edit the script, regenerate. Simple.
Plus, it makes doing those short micro-learning videos much easier.
Which is how a lot of people like to learn these days, right? Bite-sized chunks.
Yeah. And it's not just about using the stock avatars, is it? People are making custom ones now.
Oh, yeah. That's a growing trend. Personalization. Making digital twins of real instructors.
Or even yourself.
Or yourself, yeah. Imagine a lecturer having their own avatar deliver online classes. Keeps that personal touch, maybe.
While automating the filming bit.
Right.
And Synthesia has those selfie avatars. That's wild. Record yourself with a webcam.
And you get a talking head version of you. It really does blur the lines, doesn't it? Physical, digital.
And they're getting more realistic all the time.
Constantly improving. Synthesia's expressive avatars, they claim near perfect accuracy on mimicking human, intonation, emotion.
Trying to get past that uncanny valley thing.
Exactly. Make it feel natural so learners are comfortable.
Okay, so we see how they've emerged, the impressive features, the efficiency, the personalization.
Yeah, the tech is definitely moving.
But now, the core question, how well does this tech actually mesh with, how people learn best? Let's get into multimedia learning theory.
Right. This is where we connect the tech to the science, the principles of how people learn from words and pictures. Richard Mayer's work, mostly.
And the big idea is managing cognitive load.
Yeah, basically. Optimizing how learners process information through their visual and auditory channels. You don't want to overload them.
Minimizing distraction.
Exactly. There's this idea, dual coding theory. We process visual stuff and verbal stuff separately. Learning's better when we connect them.
Okay. So how do avatars fit in? Let's start with the modality principle.
Right. So the modality principle basically says learning's better with graphics plus narration, rather than graphics plus just on-screen text.
Okay.
An avatar speaking explanation alongside visuals, it reduces the reading demand, you see. Frees up the visual channel to focus on the graphics.
Using both channels together makes sense, like two paths for the info.
Exactly. Can lead to deeper understanding.
What about guiding attention, making sure learners look at the right thing?
Yeah, avatars are good for that. They can use signaling cues.
Like pointing,
Highlighting stuff as they explain it. That fits with contiguity principles, presenting related words and visuals together in time and space.
So the avatar helps you focus right when it matters.
Precisely. Directs attention to the relevant bit at the right moment.
And you mentioned the persona effect earlier?
Ah, yes. The persona effect. That came from early research on, animated agents. Precursors to today's avatars.
Okay.
And studies showed that just having a lifelike character there can actually make students feel better about the learning experience.
Even if the character isn't super advanced?
Right. Just having that friendly virtual guide makes it feel more approachable, more engaging.
So it's that feeling of presence. Even if it's digital, it sounds like social presence in online learning.
Exactly like social presence. That feeling the instructor is really there.
And learners like that.
Often report higher satisfaction,
Yeah.
when they see an instructor, human or AI.
How does the avatar create that eye contact?
Eye contact with the camera, yeah.
Yeah.
Facial expressions, smiling, using conversational language. Makes it feel more personal. Boosts motivation, potentially.
And there's also the personalization principle.
Right. People tend to learn better when the instruction feels conversational, personal, not too formal.
So an avatar reading a friendly script.
Yeah, using we and let's look at this, maybe a bit of humor. It acts like a virtual tutor or maybe a peer.
Makes it less intimidating than just text.
Potentially, yeah. Some platforms even encourage scripting that personality in.
Okay, that all sounds pretty positive, aligning well with theory. But I know the research also throws up some cautions, right? Things to be careful about.
Oh, absolutely. There are definitely caveats. One big one is Mayer's voice principle.
Which says?
Learners generally connect better with a real human voice than a synthesized one, at least historically.
Early text-to-speech was pretty robotic.
Yeah, really robotic. Could definitely hurt trust, engagement. Now, today's synthetic voices are incredibly good, often hard to tell apart from human voice actors.
But maybe still subtle differences?
Possibly. Subtle things in tone, inflection, they might still matter to some learners.
But didn't that UCL study have something interesting on this?
It did, yeah. The 2024 UCL study found students reported no significant difference in their emotional response between a real human and an AI avatar presenter.
No difference. Wow.
Suggests current tech is, pretty natural. Learners might not even notice or care if the voice is synthetic.
Still important to pick a good voice, though, presumably.
Oh, definitely. High-quality voice, pleasant, easy to listen to.
Right.
Some platforms let you clone voices or use your own.
Okay. What about the image principle? I remember that one being a bit counterintuitive.
It is, yeah. The image principle suggests just sticking a speaker's picture on screen doesn't always help learning.
You can even hurt it.
Sometimes, yeah. It can become extraneous cognitive load, a distraction.
How so?
Learners might focus on the avatar's face, or maybe read subtitles instead of processing the actual lesson content. Eye-tracking studies show this.
Fixating on the face instead of the diagram.
Exactly. So the very thing meant to engage could actually distract.
A double-edged sword, then.
Precisely. Dr. Philippa Hardman called it that. Boosts engagement, sure, but engagement isn't learning if it's poorly implemented.
So design is key. Where the avatar is, how big?
Right. Placement, timing, minimize it when learners need to focus on dense visuals, maybe bring it back for summaries.
It needs to add social value without adding cognitive cost.
That's the balance you need to strike, yeah.
Okay, that's a really crucial point for our listeners. So, assuming they are used thoughtfully, in line with these principles, what are the concrete benefits? Engagement learning outcomes.
Well, yeah, increase engagement and motivation is probably the most cited one.
Makes static stuff more dynamic.
Exactly. Feels more relatable, like someone's actually talking to you, not just reading text. Creates that social presence.
And platforms like HeyGen push that, making courses more interactive, personalized.
They do. And even small things like the avatar, nodding, smiling.
Using the learner's name.
Yeah, stuff like that can build connection. Just having an instructor figure there, human or AI, seems to reduce zoning out.
Feels more like a conversation.
Right. And research does show higher satisfaction with videos that include an instructor image, even AI.
And the persona effect. More enjoyment might mean more time learning.
Exactly. More time on task, more willing to keep going.
Okay. Another big plus seems to be consistency. High quality delivery every time.
That's a huge benefit. Humans vary, right? We have off days, avatars. They deliver the script exactly as written every single time.
No errors, no fatigue.
Right. Ensures everyone gets the same info, same way. Great for large-scale training or really precise stuff like compliance rules.
Consistent tone and message for organizations.
Yep. Plus available 24/7 for self-paced learning. Can't beat that.
And then the efficiency and scalability we talked about.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could really transform content creation.
It really could. The reduced time and cost is massive, obviously.
But it's more than just saving money, right?
Oh, yeah. It allows for much more iteration. Updating content becomes easy. Edit script, regenerate. Boom.
Instead of costly reshoots.
Exactly. So content can be more accurate, more up-to-date. Errors don't linger.
And the scale. One avatar teaching millions.
Potentially, yeah. Once the video's made, the marginal cost to distribute is near zero. Huge implications for democratizing education. Think NGOs doing health education in multiple languages.
Okay, sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? Do people learn as well from AI avatars?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And, well, the early findings are pretty encouraging.
That UCL study again?
Yeah. Over 500 learners. They found an AI video with a Synthesia avatar was just as effective as a traditional human video.
In terms of what, remembering the info?
Yeah, knowledge acquisition, measured by recall and recognition tests. Quiz scores were basically the same.
Wow. And how did learners feel about it?
No significant difference there either. Emotional response, enjoyment. Pretty much the same for AI and human.
Interesting.
And get this, the AI video was slightly shorter, and learners finished the training about 20% faster on average.
Faster with no drop in understanding.
Exactly. Suggests maybe the avatar videos are just more concise, to the point, respecting learner time.
So the takeaway isn't just as good as, but maybe even just as engaging.
Yeah, the UCL results really challenge assumptions about needing a human presenter for effective learning, at least in this kind of context.
Compelling stuff. And this also seems to open doors for accessibility, right? Making learning available to more people.
Absolutely. If done right, avatars could significantly boost accessibility. Think about learners with disabilities.
That UC Berkeley example, using avatars for students with learning disabilities.
Yeah, they reported better performance, higher graduation rates. We don't have all the details, but you can imagine how avatars might help.
Offering different explanations, visual cues, patience.
Things like that. A self-paced, non-judgmental environment. Plus, the easy integration of closed captions.
Huge for deaf or hard of hearing learners.
Definitely. And platforms like Synthesia HeyGen offer that standard. Future potential for sign language, too.
And for blind learners.
Clear audio narration is key, making the spoken content accessible.
And the localization helps global audiences.
Massively. Getting content in your native language is a huge accessibility win.
Plus the diverse avatar options, ethnicity, age, more inclusive.
Yes, Synthesia talks about that, offering diversity and representation.
Okay. Now, one thing that feels more future is real-time interaction, isn't it? Feedback, personalization.
Yes, that's where it gets really exciting, I think. Most current platforms are for pre-recorded video. The avatars aren't really interactive yet.
But that's changing.
We're starting to see it. AI avatar tutors that can respond dynamically, combining the avatar visual with, like, chatbot tech or tutoring systems.
Well, they could actually talk back, adapt.
Potentially, yes. Experimental ones can have spoken dialogues, adapt explanations based on student responses.
Intelligent pedagogical agents.
Exactly. Research there shows adaptive agents can really improve learning gains, offering hints, adjusting difficulty.
So the avatar plus adaptive AI, that could be powerful.
Could be revolutionary for personalized learning, yeah. Some even think students might feel safer admitting they're confused to an AI.
Getting immediate, tailored help without feeling judged.
That's the idea. We're right on the cusp of that, I think.
Amazing potential. But, okay, back to the present. Even with today's tech, there must be best practices for using these avatars effectively in learning design.
Oh, absolutely. And this is critical.
Mm-hmm.
The instructional design strategy, that's way more important than the tech itself.
Design trumps development.
Exactly. How you structure the learning matters most, not just having a shiny avatar.
Okay, so what are some key best practices listeners should know?
First off, keep it cognitive load friendly. Don't overwhelm people.
Like, don't just have the avatar read text that's already on screen.
Right. That violates the redundancy principle. Use narration to complement the visuals. Keep the screen clean.
Make sure the avatar has a purpose in being there.
Exactly. If it's not adding value, maybe switch to full screen graphics for a bit. Clarity first, novelty second.
Okay, what about using the avatar's visual presence well?
Leverage it for signaling. Pointing, gestures, expressions. Stuff a voice alone can't do.
Making it clear what they're referring to on screen.
Visually clear, yeah. And script the dialogue conversationally. Use I and you, friendly tone. Capitalize on that personalization principle.
Simulate real instructor engagement.
Right. Build that connection. Make it feel less like a lecture.
And should we still keep videos short, even with an engaging avatar?
Definitely. Attention spans online are what they are. Break content into chunks. 5-7 minutes, maybe.
The segmenting principle.
Exactly. Smaller chunks, focused topics, easier to digest, less cognitive load, gives space for reflection, maybe quick knowledge checks between segments.
What about that talking head issue, the avatar becoming a distraction? How do we manage that?
Be mindful of the image principle, yeah. A static head can be distracting. Use the avatar strategically.
Like full view to connect, then smaller when focusing on details.
Something like that. Full view for intra-sutras, picture-in-picture for complex visuals, maybe back for summaries. Tailor it.
Does the style of avatar matter? Realistic versus cartoonish?
It might. Sometimes less realistic can draw less attention to the face, letting learners focus on content. Worth testing with your audience. Find the right balance.
Okay. And accessibility. Always crucial.
Absolutely essential. Always include accurate closed captions or transcripts. Check for screen reader and keyboard support.
Describe important avatar actions for visually impaired learners.
Good point, yeah. If the avatar points or gestures significantly, describe it. Offer audio-only versions if you can.
Reinforce audio with text visuals for processing issues, but don't just duplicate.
Right. Complementary info, not redundant. And be mindful of flashing movements for epilepsy or neurodiversity.
That Berkeley example shows the positive potential here.
It really does. Thoughtful design makes a difference.
And related to that, thinking about diversity and inclusion when choosing avatars.
Definitely. Who your audience? Do they see themselves represented? Gender, skin tone, age, attire.
Use diverse avatars if it makes sense.
Can be a good approach. Rotate through different ones. And be careful with accents. Clarity is key. Consider cultural context, too. Gestures, appearance.
The choice of avatar sends a message.
It absolutely does. It impacts how included people feel.
Okay, transparency. This feels tricky. Do we have to tell learners it's an AI?
It's complex. Generally, transparency is good, ethically. People should know.
But it might put some people off, decrease trust.
Some research suggests that, yeah, a trust cliff. So one approach is introduce it positively. Here's our AI guide.
Frame it as helpful. Explain why you're using it.
Yeah, like to offer this in your language or to keep it updated can help acceptance. Maybe subtle visual cues. It's virtual, if not explicitly stated up front.
Monitor feedback.
Always. See how learners react, address concerns. It's a balancing act.
And finally, it sounds like avatars work best when paired with humans.
Absolutely. They're a tool, not a replacement. A hybrid approach is often best.
Avatars for core instruction, humans for Q&A, discussion.
Exactly. The human touch is still vital for mentorship, complex issues, community building.
Use avatar videos for onboarding, maybe, then live sessions for interaction.
That's a great example. Find the right blend.
And like any learning tool, evaluate, iterate.
Constantly. Get feedback specifically on the avatar experience. Look at performance data, A/B test. Stay updated on the research. Continuous improvement.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. So to wrap up, it really sounds like AI avatar instructors offer, well, huge potential, engagement, scale.
Definitely significant potential. But, and it's a big but, it needs really careful thought. Pedagogical principles, ethics.
So design is more important than the tech.
Absolutely paramount. Quality content, thoughtful structure, aligning avatar use with good pedagogy and ethics. That's how you create genuinely better learning.
And the early results on efficiency, learner acceptance, they are pretty striking.
They really are. And the future evolution.
Yeah.
Interactivity, emotion, intelligence. It's exciting to think about. More personalization, more access.
Yeah. So it's about blending the art of teaching with the science of AI.
That's a great way to put it. Harnessing the best of both worlds thoughtfully and strategically.
Engaging, effective, accessible learning.
That's the goal.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, our listener. As these AI co-instructors become more common alongside human teachers, how might that really reshape the future of learning? And maybe more importantly, what design principles will be absolutely essential to make sure this partnership truly empowers everyone involved, learners and instructors, in a way that's accessible, impactful, and ultimately human? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.